Welcome back to this episode of the Deep Penetration Podcast. My name is Danny. In case you don't know who I am a love and self-esteem coach that works with the LGBTQ plus community. And I work a lot with gay and bisexual men when it comes to all matters of self-esteem, self-confidence, self-acceptance, and really learning how to navigate and have a fulfilling, sustainable, long-term relationship. I think within the queer community, there's a lot of common misconceptions and stereotypes that we can't have healthy, long-term, sustainable relationships, and that's just not true whatsoever. Which is why I kind of started this mission to really help people unpack those negative self beliefs and those limiting beliefs and prove that we can actually accomplish and have healthy, sustainable relationships. If this is your first time joining the podcast, and welcome, please make sure you are subscribing because it helps to allow me to keep doing this, right? Have these conversations, really touch upon subjects that are maybe a little bit more taboo or that people don't really want to talk about, get a little bit deeper with subject matter, and hopefully provide a resource and tools for you guys so that you feel like you have something that you can use when navigating your personal relationships and your journey through self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-confidence. That being said, again, a lot of the topics that we talk about are going to be, some controversial topics and things that maybe people don't really necessarily want to talk about, or things that people don't really take into consideration that may be impacting your self-esteem and your interpersonal relationships or your romantic relationships. And one of those things is pornography, right? The topic of pornography and how it affects your mental health and your romantic relationships. Now, before I continue, let me be clear. I am not saying to you that pornography is wholly bad and you shouldn't do it and it's, frying your brain and all of these things. At the end of the day, that's your decision. That's your choice. How you choose to go about your day and how you choose to explore your sexuality and whatever the case may be, that is not my business to tell you what you should do or not do. But I do want to talk about the actual effects that pornography is probably maybe having on your brain, and how it could be impacting your romantic relationship, right? So basically, like, over the years, pornography has become increasingly accessible, right? And its impact on individuals and relationships has definitely sparked important conversations across multiple different fields of study. So for me, as a love and self-esteem coach specializing in working with gay and bisexual men, I have witnessed the effects of pornography firsthand and what it can do to the mind and its potential influence on romantic relationships. And I wanted to shed some light on the psychological and the emotional aspects of pornography consumption and its potential impact on your intimate connections with your partner or the people around you. So by understanding the effects, you can navigate your relationship with pornography in any way that works for you, right? In a way that maybe potentially promotes healthy self-esteem and a thriving relationship. So the first thing is understanding the appeal of pornography, right? Pornography, I think, it's widely consumed, again, due to how immediately accessible it is. There is an element of visual stimulation and the fantasy that it provides. It can be a source of sexual exploration, self-expression, and for a lot of people, it can just be a temporary escape from everyday stressors. So recognizing and acknowledging the appeal of pornography is essential in understanding its potential influence on your mind and on your relationship. So what is the impact on the mind? Number one, I think it starts to kind of create these unrealistic expectations. So frequent exposure to porn can shape the way in which you view things and your expectations and your needs in the bedroom and what you expect out of your sexual experiences. It can also mold your desires. It can mold what you find attractive. Um, and then it can have an impact on you in regards to your self-esteem and your self-confidence, right? So if you're seeing these people on the screen perform at such a high level and they all have incredible bodies and they're all, sorry George, this is going to get a little raunchy. Um and these guys are, taking these massive dicks so easily, and it doesn't seem to be bothering them, and they're enjoying it, and it's exciting, and all of these things, when realistically for a lot of people that I've spoken to, even including myself, bottoming can be a very difficult experience. It can be something it requires a lot of preparation and warming up and stimulation and removing any mental blocks that you may have, because at the end of the day, you know it's not easy to put something in there for a lot of people. So when you're seeing these images and these videos of people doing it so easily, it kind of makes you start to second guess your performance and what you're bringing to the table, and it can almost make you feel like devalued a little bit, right? So being cognizant and aware of those things, its impact on body image and again, how you feel like you perform. And this can lead to dissatisfaction and feelings of inadequacy, both for yourself and for your partner. I think the second thing that we take into consideration here is the desensitization. The explicit nature of porn can desensitize you or your partner or anybody in general to sexual stimuli. So what ends up happening is you require more extreme or novel content to elicit the same level of arousal. And this desensitization can have implications for your own ability to connect intimately with a partner and to find satisfaction in real life sexual encounters. The other part that's at play here is dopamine, right? And addiction. Pornography consumption triggers the release of dopamine. And basically, what dopamine is, it's a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. So over time, the brain can develop a tolerance to this stimulation, which can potentially lead to the cycle of addiction and compulsive behavior that interferes with your daily functioning or with your intimate relationship. And if this is something that you are finding within your relationship, if this is something that you are finding is impacting you on a much deeper level, and you are finding it hard to concentrate or to focus without thinking about the next time you're going to watch porn or you're going to get off or you're any of those things, it may be time to take a step back and reflect and say, how is this serving me? And is this something that has developed into an issue that needs to be dealt with? Another thing to take into consideration here is communication and relationship dynamics, right? So let's break that down. Within communication and relationship dynamics, we have expectations and boundaries. So being open and honest in regards to your communication around porn, right? The use of porn. And I think that's very important conversation to have in your relationship, right? Discussing each other's level of comfort with watching pornography, setting boundaries, expectations around porn can also help to foster an understanding and to establish a healthy balance in regards to your personal individual needs and your partner's needs, right? Another part of this is, or the second part of the communication factor is emotional intimacy and connection. I think excessive consumption of porn can absolutely hinder emotional intimacy and connection within your romantic relationship. And it's important to recognize that that emotional and sexual intimacy go hand in hand, right? And finding a balance that allows for the both of you is very important. The third thing here in regards to communication is comparison and jealousy, right? So, regular exposure to porn can lead to comparing yourself to the people that you see on the screen. So, sexual performance, body, all of those things. And realistically, it can cause you to start to compare your partner to these people as well, right? So this can cause more insecurity, more jealousy, more self-doubt, which can put a strain on the relationship if it is not addressed openly and honestly. The thing about porn is we've all been there. We've all experienced it. At least that's an assumption I would guess, because maybe you've never watched porn, maybe you've never experienced porn. But for myself, obviously, of course I've experienced porn or watched porn, especially being somebody who identifies as bisexual. Um, who is part of the queer community and grew up feeling the need to kind of repress or suppress my sexuality. There is a curiosity that develops there where you try to validate for yourself whether you're right in your belief or the feelings that you have regarding your sexuality. So what do? You allow your curiosity to explore a little bit. And you look up porn for the first time and you watch two guys being intimate with one another and you're aroused and you go, "Oh wait, hold on. This is okay, this looks right. This feels right." And when you do that at a very young age, you're starting a habit, a routine that could potentially become a problem long term. It's I don't want to say that it's all wholly bad, right? Because I think life is about balance, and I think the ability to utilize pornography to explore and to understand your sexual needs and desires and all of those things is an important part of sexual awakening and exploration and all of those things. But it's when it becomes too much. It's when there is no limit. It's when it's affecting your life on a daily basis. It's when you're looking forward to that next release of dopamine. It's when you're not able to connect with people on an emotional level or an intimate level because you've been desensitized to those experiences in real life. That is when it becomes an issue. The fourth thing that we talk about here, or that I want to talk about, is developing a healthy relationship with pornography, since we're talking about balance here. And this is broken up into a few sections, right? So I think the first one is self-awareness and reflection. Developing self-awareness around your motivations and your patterns around porn consumption is the first step towards developing a healthier relationship with it, right? So reflect on how it affects your emotions, your self-esteem, and your relationships. The second part of this is just overall education and conscious consumption. Educate yourself about the potential consequences of excessive porn use and consumption and the impact that it can have on your mind. By being mindful of how much you're consuming and making that conscious choice about the type and the amount of porn that you are engaging with, you can maintain, hypothetically, you can maintain a healthier relationship with it. The third part of this is seeking support, right? So if you find that you're struggling with compulsive porn use, or if it's significantly impacting your relationship, consider talking to a professional. Talk to a therapist, talk to a licensed clinical psychologist who can provide you with guidance and support and strategies to address the underlying issues and develop healthier coping mechanisms, right, when it comes to stress and anxiety. I have found, at least for myself, and I'll speak from personal experience. And do I watch porn every so often? Sure, absolutely. Are there times where I'm interested because I come across somebody on social media and, I'm like, wait, I think I've seen this person, those general curiosities and all of those types of things. Obviously, Yeah, still dabble in porn and all of those things. But is it to a level where I'm concerned that it's hindering my ability to focus and navigate everyday life? And is it affecting my interpersonal relationships, my intimate relationship with my partner? The answer is no. So being consciously aware of pornography's role in your life. And at some point, if it is something that you actually prefer to do solo opposed to with your romantic partner, there's a problem. And there's something that I would probably consider exploring. But again, your choice, your life. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't do it, that you should do it. All I'm saying is if you are going to be actively consuming porn, just be consciously aware of the potential problems that it may cause and how it affects your mind and how it can affect your interpersonal relationships, right? Do your due diligence. Put in the conscious effort to really try to unpack the reasons for why porn is such a big part of your life. And look, honestly, I think porn is just a big part of queer culture in general because of the suppression and the repression that we experience as queer individuals before we have the opportunity to come out, because sex is such a focal part, a main part of again, the culture. So porn kind of goes hand in hand with that. So again, just being consciously aware. That's all I really have. Honestly, I think this is more so of like an informative type of episode, a research science based back, I don't know, whatever episode you want to consider this or call this. It's just a little insight for you when it comes to porn because I feel like it's such a big part of the culture. I hope you found this educational. I hope you found this insightful. Make sure you are taking the poll at the end of the episode. Drop me a line. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're getting anything from this, your feedback in general, any topics that you would want to see covered or discussed. I love to hear what you have to say. If you want to reach out to me, if you feel like you need support, if you need help navigating anything, this is what I do for a living. I help people day in, day out, and there are multiple ways in which you can reach out to me. I have my social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram. I have my YouTube channel. I have my website. I have this podcast, and I will provide a lot of that information in the bio of this podcast. Thanks for sitting down and having a chat with me, and I will see you in the next episode.